Our sexual energy as women is connected to our voice. Did you know that? When you silence your sexual energy as a woman, you silence your mouth. The sexual energy is the one that I use to materialize my dreams. It's the fire. Sexual energy is creativity. So when I am not in contact with a healthy relationship with my own sexuality, my ability to express myself in the world assertively, passionately, clearly, and my ability to materialize my dreams is zero. I will speak. No, I'm not sure. Sorry. What? I don't know. I'm afraid. Afraid of what? I don't know. Did you do what you wanted to do? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I can't. This is someone with no fire, where her sexual energy is not active. There is a fear of female sexuality to India to watch women who are insecure in their bodies, who hate their bodies, who don't know how to move, who are even afraid to feel pleasure. They're afraid when they start to discover we are not used to feel our body. We are not comfortable with feeling pleasure in our body. We feel guilty. There is this sense of guilt of I'm doing something wrong. You know, I have a sense of shame, even if I don't know for what, coming from where. I have seen it in women from many different cultures, many different educational backgrounds, different ages. We're just not, generally speaking, educated to know our bodies, to feel proud of our bodies, to listen to our bodies, to trust our bodies, and to celebrate and feel good in our own skin. And of course, we've been fed many negative ideas in relation to sexuality. And we were told that if you wanted to be a good woman, you could not be a sexual being.
Yeah.
And you had to repress it if you wanted to be respected. And that's nonsense. That's the easiest and most efficient way of shutting us down and of not allowing women to have their own voice, to have their own identity. Okay, so think in terms of sexual energy and mouth, our our ability to, this is who I am. Hi Poonam, nice to meet you. My name is Joana.
Yeah.
This is the fire of the Kundalini. You know it that very well in India. It has been started for centuries. So what Egyptian dance does, it puts the Kundalini into motion and it connects it with your mind, your ideas, your imagination, with your emotional world, and your soul. It all comes together. The system, holistic system. You know, so I would really tell women when they hear this voice of I'm ashamed, I feel guilty when I feel good in my own skin, tell that voice to bugger off. Really, don't listen to that voice. I mean, you can feel it, but ignore it.
I used to think if I couldn't find hope, I should just let it all go. I used to think if I couldn't make dreams come true, I should just let them all go.
Note, I want to ask you, for our listeners to give some tips actually, because even I see, especially midlife women, in their 40s or 50s, they're like at the middle of their age, in the lifetime, but they have never explored their bodies, their own bodies, even if like they have become mothers, but they are not really aware of their own body. So they have not moved per se. Forget dancing. So any tips like, how to embrace yourself? And I think embracing only comes when you embody your entire body into something and, you really start connecting with, as you said, that, to feel everything. So how one can do that? Because I see there's a lot of inhibitions in Indian women.
Okay, so, and I'm going to give you my perspective, okay? First of all, I do think that working your body with Egyptian dance or any other style of dance is a question of health. So let's start with the basic of the basics.
Yeah.
It is healthy and recommendable that any woman at any age uses her body. Exercise, move. What dance has that sports doesn't have is the creative, self-expression side. So when you're doing sports, it's a more mechanical thing. It's very healthy, but it's mechanical, it is repetitive. When you're learning Egyptian dance, for instance, you do have the exercise, but you also have an array of other things that you're developing at the same time. Plus, you are getting to know yourself and you're gaining the self-confidence and the self-awareness that you may not have with other dance styles or with just going into sports. So this is the basics. Move, start to move. Obviously I would recommend Egyptian dance because this is my thing and this is the dance that I love the most. And as I told you, I came from very different dance styles. So I tried them all. And when I found Egyptian dance, I said, oh my God, this is so good on so many levels, you know? So obviously I'm biased, but I would recommend moving for health, Egyptian dance, if possible, because I do believe this is a very peculiar kind of dance that will develop you in ways that other dances do not develop you. And I tell you that again because I went through those dances. I studied those dances. Now, I would also recommend that they realize something very simple, but that we tend to forget, which is life is short. I know every culture has its own taboos. So when we talk about India, when we talk about Egypt, when we talk about Western developed countries, all of us have our taboos regarding our bodies. You know, you don't need to go to India to watch women who are insecure in their bodies, who hate their bodies, who don't know how to move, who are even afraid to feel pleasure. They're afraid. When they start to discover physical pleasure moving, they get scared. Yeah. I've watched that thousands of times, and I don't need to go to India for that. So don't think that it's something specific of Indian women or Chinese women or Japanese women. No, I've traveled the world and I've taught dancers from different levels, from different nationalities and cultures, and I can tell you there is like a basic block that you can find in every culture regarding women, and that is we are not used to feel our body. We are not comfortable with feeling pleasure in our body. We feel guilty. There is this sense of guilt of I'm doing something wrong. You know, I have a sense of shame, even if I don't know for what, coming from where. I have seen it in women from many different cultures, many different educational backgrounds, different ages, who are just not, generally speaking, educated to know our bodies, to feel proud of our bodies, to listen to our bodies, to trust our bodies, and to celebrate and feel good in our own skin. We are not educated for this. Not in India, not in Spain, not anywhere. I don't know any country that exists. You know, I've been to the north of Europe, right? I mean, England, Holland, the countries where you find the rights of women more developed. You find women more aware, stronger, empowered. You have all this civilizational advancements going on in those North European countries. When it goes down to the body of women, they face the same issues an Indian woman from Calcutta will face. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Thanks for making me comfortable for my country.
Absolutely. We always think we're the only ones. Oh, in India it's so bad, or in Egypt it's so bad, or in Portugal it's bad. I know there are countries where the laws do not defend women. Okay, so I'm not minimizing any kind of mistreatment or any kind of injustice. I'm aware of what's going on in India, in Egypt, where I lived. You know, I lived in many years in a country where legally, for the reason of being a woman, I was not protected. So I know, and I'm not minimizing the fact that there are differences in the way women are treated from country to country. But when it goes down to the way we see our bodies, the way we see our value as human beings, the way we see our birthright to pleasure, the way we see our freedom, we are equally blocked. And we are universally afraid of claiming the power and the beauty and the individuality of this beautiful system that is composed of my physical body, my mind, my heart, and my soul. And when you learn Egyptian dance, you start to put these 4 dimensions into action together. And it can be very scary and very beautiful. So I would tell women everywhere, not only in India, don't believe the guilt and the shame that comes. Shame, a sense of shame. You don't know, where is this coming from? Oh hell, from where? We don't know, but it's coming from someplace. I've seen it. Because when I'm teaching, privately, in my school, in big festivals, I observe my students. I'm not always dancing. Sometimes I make them dance, right? So I'm observing. When they start to feel good in their own skin, when it's not only about performing and showing me something, and they start to enjoy, they stop.
Yeah.
There is this moment where, oh, no. What am I doing? I must be doing something wrong. I shouldn't feel this good. I start to feel ashamed of something. I don't know of what, but it's very powerful.
It's like linked or associated with sexuality suddenly.
Yeah, I think, there is a fear of female sexuality.
Yeah.
This is very obvious. It's something that it's very connected to Egyptian dance, because what Egyptian dance does, amongst other things, is to awaken in a very natural, very organic way your sexual energy. It's very organic. You don't even notice it.
Yeah.
It happens naturally through the music, the quality of the movements, the rhythms, and suddenly you come in contact with the concept of sexuality that is not dirty, it is not narrow-minded, it is very beautiful, very natural, and also connected to your power to create. Our sexual energy as women is connected to our voice. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so you will know it from now.
Why? Right.
Yes, when you silence your sexual energy as a woman, you silence your mouth. This is why, and this is something you can observe. I observe it because I also talk with my students. When a woman does not have her sexual energy well developed and well solved, when she does not deal in a healthy way with her sexual energy, which is also her creative energy, okay, because sexual energy is creative energy. The sexual energy is the one that I use to materialize my dreams. It's the fire. Sexual energy is creativity, it's pure creativity. How you use it, that's another story. But the energy itself is pure creativity. It's the fire. I will create something. This is sexual energy. So when I am not in contact with a healthy relationship with my own sexuality, my ability to express myself in the world assertively, passionately, clearly, and my ability to materialize my dreams is zero. I don't speak. No, I'm not sure. Sorry. What? I don't know. Afraid of what? I don't know. Did you do what you wanted to do? I don't know. Maybe I can't. This is someone with no fire, where her sexual energy is not active, it's not activated. What Egyptian dance does is to activate it in such a natural, beautiful way. You suddenly realize, oh my God, I can and should feel good in my own skin. This sexual energy is the one that allows me to survive and to thrive, is the one that allows me to have pleasure in the most mundane, small things, when I eat, when I breathe, right? When I hear a beautiful song, when I touch my cat, when I hug the man that I love or the woman that I love, when I have this project, this dream, and I feel excited and I say, yeah, of course I can do it, I can do it. This is sexual energy. This is all our sexuality. And women have a very distorted, very destructive, very limited concept of what sexuality is. And of course, we've been fed many negative ideas in relation to sexuality. And we were told that if you wanted to be a good woman, you could not be a sexual being.
Yeah.
That you had to repress it if you wanted to be respected. And that's nonsense. That's the easiest and most efficient way of shutting us down and of not allowing women to have their own voice, to have their own identity. Okay? So think in terms of sexual energy and mouth, our our ability to, this is who I am. Hi Poonam, nice to meet you. My name is Joana.
Yeah.
This is the fire of the Kundalini. You know it that very well in India. It has been started for centuries. So what Egyptian dance does, it puts the Kundalini into motion and it connects it with your mind, your ideas, your imagination, with your emotional world, your soul. It all comes together. The system, holistic system, So I would really tell women, when they hear this voice of, I'm ashamed, I feel guilty when I feel good in my own skin, tell that voice to bugger off. Really. Don't listen to that voice. You can feel it, but ignore it. Start to...
Could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose.
To go beyond it, start to not take it so seriously, because life is short. And we're here not only to accomplish our purpose, but also to feel good as much as possible in our own skin. We deserve that. Each person deserves that.
But what do they do with the judgmental relationships around them, because a lot of time there is a fear of judgments or mockery or bullying.
Okay, so that's a hard question, right? Then again, I believe that teachers have a very strong role to play there. So if you're a teacher, as I mentioned, one of the functions you have to fulfill is to create an environment where competition and bullying is not allowed. So this is the first thing I would say. If you're a dance teacher, not even a specific Egyptian dance teacher, any dance, if you're dealing with groups of women, let's put it this way, in any kind of discipline, in any kind of area, it's your job to make sure that in your classroom, in your environment, women are educated, not only for the thing they came to when they asked you to teach them, but they are educated to respect themselves and respect their sisters. And see other women as mirrors. The way I treat you, Poonam, the respect I give you, the tenderness I give you is the respect and the tenderness I give myself. So if I mistreat you, I'm mistreating myself. Mm-hmm. This concept, I believe, has to be educated consistently. Mm-hmm. And of course, teachers who have access to big groups of women, they are in a privileged position to do that, right? To educate women in that sense. Now, this is one thing. Another thing is each one of them gaining consciousness about this, right? I mean, even before you meet the teacher who will tell you this, you as a woman realize that the way you treat other women, your neighbor, your family member, your friend, a stranger in the street, the way you treat her is the way you treat yourself. So ask yourself, how would you like to be treated? Yeah. Starting with your own relationship with yourself. What do you see when you look at the mirror? What do you tell yourself when you look at the mirror? Do you say, oh, you're so fat, oh, you're so ugly, oh, you're so this, oh, you're so that? Do you? Well, if you do, consider changing it, right? I mean, because it's a really nasty way to live. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, you are beautiful, you are valuable, I love you. Okay, so it all starts with your relationship with yourself. If you cannot love yourself, if you cannot educate yourself to love yourself, because sometimes that's what we gotta do, our parents don't always do a good job. Right? We all know that. So as adults, we often have to reparent ourselves. I call it adult parenting, right? Mm-hmm. So if your parents did not educate you to have a positive outlook on yourself, you can do it, right? And when you start doing it towards yourself, you're going to start doing it towards other women, because the way you treat them is going to be a reflection of the way you treat yourself. So there is no better way, in my opinion, to combat bullying and judgment from others than starting with loving yourself. Don't bully yourself. What about that? Don't judge yourself so much. What about that? Don't criticize yourself. What about that? Start there. Mm-hmm. Before you go and you say, oh, my colleagues are not supportive, my colleagues judge me, if I dance this way, they will speak that way about me. Forget them, but let them be for a while. Focus on you. Right. Judge yourself. That's the big question. Do you criticize yourself? Do you believe that when you're dancing and enjoying in your own skin, that you are disrespectful? Or when you hear yourself saying, my name is Poonam and I know I'm amazing. I can do amazing things in life. Do you think that's cool, or do you feel awkward? Do you feel uncomfortable? Oh, I'm being so cocky. It all starts with us.
Right.
Before I look at my colleagues, at other women, at the way that I imagine they're going to judge me, I have to check and see, how am I not judging myself? How am I bullying myself or not? And then after I work on my relationship with myself, it is easier to empower other women to do the same. So one day I go out in the street and I will stop a woman in the street, as I've done many times, and people think I'm crazy. I will stop a stranger, and this is something I learned from Egyptian women, by the way, and I will tell her, you know what? You're beautiful. I just wanted to tell you. And they're very awkward, Oh, I don't know. Do I know you? No, you don't know me. I just tell you.
Yeah, it's so unusual to receive a compliment from a woman to a woman.
Well, not so unusual in Egypt. This is one of the things that I miss in Egypt. And this is something that I learned from Egyptian women, I must say that, is that in Cairo, you will go, into a store, or, you will be in a supermarket and a woman will come and say, wow, your eyes. Oh my God, I would kill for your eyes. What beautiful hair. Oh, I love your hips. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So it's very funny. And it is, it is a culture where women are very together. They're very much together with each other. And there are dynamics of sisterhood and dynamics of love and support towards women, even strange women they don't know. So I kind of absorb that, right? And what I suggest my students or my friends, what I do really is, first of all, work on my relationship with myself. So really, it's so important. Not judging myself, not criticizing myself, loving myself, and then being the example. This is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Wow. You know more than me about my heritage and my
I cried like a baby when I went into Mahatma Gandhi house when I went to India. Don't leave me.
Oh my God, tomorrow morning itself I will visit his ashram. I'm ashamed of myself, you know.
I love Gandhi, you know. I have a very old love affair with India, by the way. I didn't comment. I really didn't tell you this I didn't tell you because it was not the subject. I know the life of Mahatma Gandhi quite well because he's one of my personal heroes. Oh, wow. And when I went to India, I did go to his house and I cried like a baby. It was very emotional to me. I did Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. I went to Rishikesh. Yeah, wow. I bathed in the Ganga River. Crazy, you know. So be the change you wish to see in the world. You know, the best thing to combat bullying and to combat judgment is to be an example of the kind of woman you would like other women to be. Absolutely. You know, and the more women gain awareness of this, the less you will see judgment and criticism and bullying, you know. And then of course you need a little bit of thick skin because the world is not perfect. Yeah. And the people are not perfect. Not women, not men, we're not perfect. You know, it's an imperfect world. So you will always find someone who will criticize just for the sake of it, you know. You will always find someone who will judge you just because they woke up in a bad mood. You know, you cannot stop it. I mean, but you can build such a strong foundation that none of it offends you. Yeah. That you can actually thank someone who criticizes you and judges you and say, thank you. It's fun to see that kind of mirror. Now I know you better. Ironically, but with a smile. You know? Yeah. Because, you know, when you are at peace with yourself, and this is why going back to yourself is so important, and this is also why I love Egyptian dance so much, because it allows you to go back to yourself consistently. And when you go back to yourself and when you build that foundation of knowing who you are and being at peace in your own skin, it really doesn't matter anymore. No, it's an opinion. Usually the ones who will criticize you and judge you are the ones who criticize and judge themselves the harshest. So I feel pity. I don't feel attacked per se. I say, oh my God, it must hurt to be on that person's skin, you know, because I know I don't take my time to judge and criticize and bully anyone. I have better things to do with my life. So I can imagine how it must feel for someone to have the need to bully someone or to badmouth someone or to gossip about someone or to say, oh, that woman should not move that way. Who does she think she is? That person must be in a very sad place in order to do that. So more than feeling attacked, I feel pity for them. But that all goes down to my relationship with myself. So building a strong, healthy, loving relationship with yourself will change so many dynamics, you know, and it will really build the example you want to see in the world. Okay?
Yeah. Wonderful. So profound, I must say. So, Joana,